Hi, my name is Michelle Zwicker, and I am a fire starter. I work with my coaching clients, helping them get into and stay in inspired momentum so that they can create a really big business and a big life. It inspired me to make this Momentum Makers Intimate Interview series where I could learn from other really big players in life about how to do that so I could share it with my clients. Today is a perfect example of somebody who is living an intense, uncompromising life, and that is Loral Langemeier. She is a teacher, coach, author in the area of wealth creation and wealth management. And I call her a force of nature. The first time I met her, I knew I had to know her better. I just wanted to be around her vibration, and you'll get a sense of that in this interview. She is just so lit up, and she really lives like a big life stem to stern inside her personal life, raising her children, running her business Live Out Loud, and hanging out with a lot of other really big players. Listen for a couple of things inside this interview. I thought this was really a profound concept. She's calling it sourcing, which is where she's getting her energy from, versus forcing. And she really learned a lot through trial and error about what to control, what you can control, and what you can't control. She has some really good ideas about yes energy, which is a formula that she wrote extensively about in one of her books, and it's all over her. Really, just listen to her energetically, and I think that's where so much of the learning is with her. Enjoy the interview. Come back for all the others.
So, Loral, I am so excited about this opportunity to talk to you. And it's funny, I spend most of my days working from home. I have a home office. My coaching clients are all over the U.S. and Canada, mostly over the phone. So I don't really have to get dressed up much. But today, I was really compelled to get all dressed up. I even put on mascara for our phone call. That's how meaningful this is to me.
That's funny.
I know. Well, I'm really honored and grateful to have this chance to discuss productivity and getting things done with you, because if anyone has really earned the right to be considered an expert on this subject, it is you. You make such good use of your time on this planet, as is demonstrated by that introduction. And I thought if it's appropriate, right now it's Tuesday, it's 3 p.m., would you be comfortable sharing just what today looks like for you, and is it a typical day in the life of Loral?
Oh my gosh, I think that's a great question. So I would say that I live a lot of lives, and I actually enjoy a lot of lives. So there's not like one life I live. So the Tahoe life, so I'm home in Lake Tahoe today, and when I'm home in Tahoe, I'm mountain girl, I am mom, I'm working with my operational staff, and I'm skiing and playing. So I get up. So my normal routine when I'm mountain girl, which is different than when I'm on the road nationally or internationally, those are kind of different patterns as well. So that's what I mean by different lives, because those are different patterns given what I'm up to. And then I just have total play days. So today would be one of those Tahoe working days, playing days. So every morning I get up, no matter where I am on any time zone, anywhere in the world, I get up with real intentionality. And, some people call it meditation, I call it prayer. But it's really being in that intentional space of what the energy of the day is going to be like. I do intentionality towards other people, especially my children, and what their day could be like, and, sending some intentions, by way of them and others that are deep and meaningful in my life. So no matter what, I always start my day like that. And then, I start with some stretching and just then I go get either coffee or tea, whichever I'm in the mood for. And today I actually decided to postpone my workout a little bit, and I just hung out with my kids. So we made breakfast, hung out, took them both to school. They're 2 hours apart, so I took one to school, came back, played with the other, hung out with her, took the other one to school. And then immediately, the minute she was dropped off, I was on a coaching call. And this was more of a not like an intense coaching call, but it was setting up some stage stuff. So I had a half hour with him, and then I went to the gym, and I did a good hour and a half of intense strength training and cardio, and then straight to the office, all in sweaty clothes, changed kind of quickly on the way through. And but it's really critical. Like, I don't think people realize the efficiency of time. and how much you can get done if you really, really are hyper efficient. So then I did 2 coaching calls, and then I had my company meeting. I have a once-a-week company meeting where we jam for an hour. And so it's just really, really intense. I had my electronics all hooked up, so the minute I hit my car, like I had to go get my daughter, she was sick from school, and I do that and not send nannies when it's that kind of emotional thing. But I had phone calls the whole way there. And then talk to her the whole way back. But it's like hyper efficiency, and I think even on phone calls, I'm sure we're going to get into some of this too, Michelle, but it's like, what's the point? And I think what's the point and what are you getting to, and having some directionality creates efficiency. So that's so far, and I've got a whole heap of stuff in front of me today. But it's getting a lot knocked out, and it's also a lot of delegating probably in between there that I didn't talk about, is letting a lot of managers know a lot of things to go on. So I have, I don't know how many things in the marketing department are going on, probably 15 or 20 different things. I got 5 or 6 new joint ventures coming in, a couple new companies I'm buying, my CPA's working on, a lot of stuff. So I give very intense and very specific outputs of the day. So for my marketing team, my sales team, we had conversations. My sales, I got different sales teams. They were all given specific direction this morning. So all of those happen in very short, either text, emails, or phone calls. So I set an enormous amount of motion in every department, from marketing to sales to accounting to fulfillment to customer service, and then I do my part. And then at the end of the day, we will all wrap up and start again tomorrow. Very intense. Very intense.
Boom! That's called Laurel Langemeier boom, and that's honestly what I felt the very first time I met you, just this powerhouse, like a force of nature that just seems to be you. So one of the things I really wanted to ask you before we even got a chance to get into some of the nitty-gritty about all that you're capable of doing with one lifetime is, what is the quality of your life? Because it would be easy to hear all that and to think, oh, my God, the complications, the pressure, the stress. I really would love for you to share with us the quality of your life. Like on a scale of 1 low, 10 high, how stressed are you most of the time?
Well, I'm not. That's what's interesting. It's intense, but I've also, I was thinking about that with you got to imagine dating me, right? Somebody recently said, I don't know that I can keep up. And I said, it's not about keeping up. It's about having fun and having amazing moments, because I'm highly conditioned for this. Like, this isn't, if you listen to it, something I just woke up and all of a sudden was performing at these levels. This is something for most of my lifetime you condition yourself for. So my capacity is extraordinary. Like, my ability to hold an amazing amount of not only information, but I do a lot of memory work. I do a lot of brain training. I still do. I don't think you ever let that go. So I frame it by the fact that I'm highly, highly in shape for what I'm up to, which then causes me to have a lot of fun. I've gone through a lot of bumps and bruises to learn to delegate and then let it go. So at this point, the quality of my life, it's intense, but it's not stressful. It's not like I lay in bed and stress and freak out and don't have, panics. I am amazing at delegating to people who are far more skilled than I am at a lot of things I delegate. So I'm having a heck of a lot of fun. I would say I'm probably, honestly, an 8. And what's going to make it a 10 is training trainers to take me off the road a little more. Because I've been almost everywhere in the world, and I've had this very blessed life. And when I want to go, I just went to Canada skiing and playing with my son, took some friends, took one of my friends, and we had an amazing time. And I put work around it. But, that is an intentional trip I wanted to do. So I want more intentional business trips with a hell of a lot more fun around them than some of the trips which are just so intense in all business. So fun is becoming, as I'm older and with my kids, an extraordinary value that's got to be in the travel. So what's going to make it a test for me is more online and less demanded travel, but desired travel.
Got it, yeah. And the original scale was 1 low, 10 high on how stressed you are. And your answer, 8 to 10, is really how calm you are and how much fun you're having, right?
Yeah, so that's a quality. Yeah. On stress, it's just not. It's just I have too much amazing team that I can process and offload the stress. Not. I'm through all that. I lived, part of my late 20s and early 30s with that drama. I'm over that.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I coined a phrase, and I strive towards a state that I call inspired momentum. And it's a state of being in such flow that the work feels effortless and really divinely inspired. You know, ideas and opportunities come easily, like the universe is collaborating and conspiring to give you what you really want and need. And I really felt like you were talking about something similar in your book, Yes Energy, The Equation to Do Less and Make More. And I really feel like that's part of why you can say that you can get as much as you do get done and say that you're having that much fun. It really does feel like there's this quality of inspired momentum in the way that you work. So I'm just wondering how you can speak to that sort of foundational belief of yours that allows you to stay in that state of calm and peacefulness and hyper efficient.
Well, and I think what's interesting is because most people would associate hyper efficiency with an extraordinary masculine energy, and the state of calm and peace and kind of more of an open, like, heart place is almost right, and almost the efficiencies from a head place. So the other place is like really feminine. So it's this interesting blend, and honestly, outside of just mature growing up and being through a hell of a lot of extremes, probably on both sides, and then deciding, like for me, I like the richness of both sides of those lives. And then so deciding, probably through my Yes Energy book, how do you get to have it all? Because I don't like the word balance. I think balance is like the most ridiculous word ever. I mean, meaning, like, you're not going to have balance. Like if you look at this, you know, a scale, using a scale like a, you know, food scale as an example, or any kind of scale, that balance then creates stagnation. So I don't think balance is something anyone should strive for, but it's how do you have it all and be all in the moment that you're in. And I think bringing on that energy and then putting my Yes Energy equation together, you know, which is team, it's faith, it's, you know, just huge confidence, it's all of those pieces, is great. But here's what I also find, though, too, Michelle, is once people can find a formula, like my Yes Energy book was heavily sold because of its formula of how to create Yes Energy. But so even though that creates efficiency and momentum, the inspired part, as you speak about inspired momentum, which I love those words, the inspired is being passionate about what you're doing. And I think there's too many people that just won't decide what they're passionate about. And then what I know, because I've done this work for so long, the lack of decision making, I think, has nothing more to do with the fact that that once people decide what it is they're going to be in love and inspired and be passionate about, like I love teaching people how to make money and become millionaires. It is so simple for me to see it and do it that I love it. I can do it in my sleep for people if they would actually do what I say, but they don't. So that inspired inspiration. Once people decide what it is, then I think they're scared to death of being amazingly successful, because now there's no excuse for anything. They know what they're passionate about. They know what they're inspired by. You know, I have plenty of work that will teach them the Yes Energy equation in addition to making a lot of money. So when all of it's laid out in front of you, you have no excuse but yourself and to trust yourself and move. So it's an interesting space of living in the inspired momentum, or what I call my Yes Energy formula.
There's been so many great teachings about these concepts. I don't know if you're familiar with Abraham Hicks and the teachings of Abraham.
Oh, yeah.
And they talk about action is not the only measure of results. Alignment is. And it really feels like what you are masterful at is that alignment that really precedes the doing. And you're a great doer. I mean, obviously you're a great doer. I've met a lot of doers, though, that are, it's like scattershot, and it doesn't really have the force that you have. It feels like your force is coming mostly from that inner alignment that you refer to. And I just can imagine that really mystifies some people. Like, how do you get that? I love what you're saying about having this morning intentionality, and I feel like those kinds of rituals are part of it. You know, the practice that you're talking about that's allowed you to be so well conditioned. Is there any other way of sharing
yes,
how
there
somebody
is.
can turn into that?
Yes, is sourcing. So what you say is force, I would say is sourcing. Because when you actually are sourced to whatever, whoever's listening is calling a higher power or universe, I call God, when you really tap to that source, you have infinite power. And the way that I am very directional about my actions and my intentions, because I get what I want, and people hear me say that and they say, well, that sounds arrogant and, intense and, kind of like a brat, like, well, I get what I want. I get what I want because I'm clear about what I want. I'm also in reality about what's possible at certain times, because there's a lot of things that I still want, and it won't be this year, but it will be in the next year or the next year. Like I have a reality of what it takes, timing, and time is an energy all to itself, right, which is faith. Time is an energy that people want to. So when I see people force timing, that's force. But sourcing and then being wise to know that the timing isn't right. Like some of the partners that have come into my life are extraordinarily intentionality. Like I just decided last year when I had my birthday in June that I'm going to live an absolute non-compromising life. Now, I've said that at certain levels, but this was a level of commitment that was beyond a commitment. One of my clients wrote this amazing book called Pray Big. And the essence of the whole book is if you really believe in a higher power, God, universe, God, then don't pray for, and I'm going to drop a little F-bomb and just get people ready for shock. But he literally writes this in his book, and he's a pastor. He said, don't pray for a good fucking day.
I love irreverence, so bring it.
I do too. He's like, so don't pray for a good fucking day. Like if you believe in a higher power, pray for something that is actually worthy of God and a higher power's energy. And that is a big fucking life, not a big day. And see that I have always, my whole life, because of The Secret and just a lot of stuff, put money and spirituality together. And most people, a lot of the like woo-woo way out there spiritual, and if you're one of those, I'm going to nail you right now for sitting on your ass and doing nothing, because they sit in this, it's not godly to make money. God gave you gifts and amazing, amazing talent, and somebody needs it. So while you sit on your ass and do nothing, somebody's not being served. So I think your entire skill set, like everything that I get brought, and why so much comes to me is because I give it right back out and serve lives. I serve so many people's lives with all that intentionality. So that's just the intention that I live, and it's an intense, non-compromising life. So when I turned my birthday and I said, I've been doing this for 17 years, it's time for a next level. And so who is that? And I only want to play with the coolest people on the planet, like the coolest, amazing people. And if I don't, then I've done this part of my job, and I'm going to go do something different with my gifts, but in a different way. Like literally was committed until I got to that place to lay Live Out Loud down, to say, yep, I'm done. I've done this rodeo. I'm kind of going to close the door. And it was December 15th. Kevin Harrington became my partner. By January 15th, I have John Benson, the world's leading highest paid copywriter in the world, on my team. I have Tillman Knutz, one of the leading affiliate marketers. Glenn Ledwell became part of my team last year, who's probably one of the leading online money guys ever. Just in the last 2 or 3 weeks, Ryan Dice Perry and Roland, the biggest traffic conversion guys, are going to partner with Kevin and I on stuff. I mean, I have more coming. I've got the rights to the Guerrilla Marketing and Levinson brand. I'm helping Sharon Lecter with Think and Grow Rich for Women. I mean, you talk about bringing it. It's
a big fucking life, Laurel.
It's a big life, and it just keeps getting delivered. And all I do is say yes, and then I start sorting out who are the teams that are going to help get all this done. And I don't stress out about it, because when you stress, you go internal. So I keep going outside and say, okay, it's been answered. I got it. I got all these parts. Now what's the next level to play? Because all of the next level, is right in front of me. It's all been delivered in less than a 6-month period. So I just share that because it could look from the outside like force versus sourcing. And I think
got it. Yeah.
Not two different energies. Sourcing.
And you know what you just said that's so important is that when you said stress, really you said it's internal. What I saw when you said that is it's just counting on sort of your little human energy, just a little human energy that one person can possibly generate. That's where stress brings you, rather than the opposite, which is what you're talking about, which is sourcing, source energy, which is limitless.
Limitless. And
limitless. And
if you don't try to control it. If you don't try to control it. That's, I mean, I've already lived through one generation of that. And my generation's happened in about a year. I go pretty quick in my lessons. So I've had the sourcing before, but then tried to control it because the speed of which it was coming was too intense. So control then shuts down source, which is like a reverse way of forcing. And yeah, it's such an energetic, which is really what had me write the whole Yes Energy book, because I do it without such definition. And like you said when you introduced me, which a lot of people have been saying, like this force of nature, because I do have an enormous physical capacity to do what I do. I mean, from my ability to travel in the world, manage jet lag, or not have it. I just choose to not have it. Is how I handle it. And I have rituals to get me, on track like that. But there is a physicality to my life that also supports what I'm up to. And I don't.
Yeah.
And so I say that because I think part of this productivity and being efficient that you speak of, not enough people take seriously about, like, literally their hydration. I live at 7,800 feet. So water is an important, critical part of living high in the mountains. And
that's a perfect segue, because I really do want to talk to you about some of your right. Like, how do you really manage your state? What are techniques, tips, tools, methods that keep you in good shape to work at this level and be efficient?
I would say, I'm not a perfect eater by any stretch of the imagination. You can look at me and know that. But I do manage a lot of really good nutrition. I manage a lot of protein. Sleep is a critical part of my life. I'm not one of those that say you can, get used to sleeping 2-3 hours. I think also there's just a different regeneration that happens. So I think all those parts of your physicality is critical. But I also notice, and this is probably a part very few people talk about, and I've just had some really master teachers teach this part, which who you surround yourself with, literally at that level, not because what they eat or that part, but any of people who are around you that have negative energy and have a lot of stress and anxiety, you're energetically in their field. Like, I don't have those people in my life. And also part of my Tahoe life, because I am so with other people in my traveling life and my book signing life and all that. When I come home to Tahoe, it's me and the kids, and I'm very few people around this neighborhood. They know of me, they know who I am, but they leave me alone. And I'm not here for a social life. This is not why I live in this mountain. I live in this mountain for complete regeneration. Like I said, I live high in the mountains. I said I live on heavenly mountains. So when people ask me where I live, I said in heaven with God. So, I live in
I appreciate what you're saying, though, how important your environment is.
My environment's critical, and I don't think people take people and environment, which are two big parts I talk about in my Yes Energy book. The people you surround yourself, like even just going out for dinner and you have some like negative, whiny people, like can't do it. Like you have got to get rigorous about that part of how do I do it. So yes, how do I physically do it? And then I also manage my workouts. I run a lot, I strength train a lot, I ski a lot. Most of my great thinking ideas and sourcing ideas come when I'm skiing. So I do have a passion for, just being outside and ski. So whatever it is, moving. Yeah, so whether it's golf or swimming or whatever the heck the thing is.
Yeah, it opens up your intuition and your intellect, and I hear that. And I've got some. I wonder what you think about this. I really feel similar in terms of protecting my bubble. I feel like I live a little bit in a bubble.
I say that too. I say I live in a bubble.
I do. I live in a bubble, and I'm comfortable with it. And there's a lot of things that I don't know about because I don't want to. And I really censor, newscasts and all that kind of stuff because I really feel it diminishes my frequency. I wonder what your thoughts are about that.
Totally agree. I don't. When people say, "Hey, did you know there's tornado touchdown? Do you know that?" No, I don't. I don't know any of that occurs either. So I know what I need to know. I have people obviously in my life that will inform me if it's critical for me to know.
Right. You'll find it on Facebook if you need to.
I don't even go on Facebook. I've never logged on, and I don't really see in my lifetime that I ever will.
Okay.
I know you like that. So again, that's just that's. To me, Facebook is a business tool, solely a business tool. And I go out there to generate leads and generate money and be in conversations so I can help educate and serve people that way, but then ultimately want them to become a customer of mine. So I have a team of experts who stay completely up to date on every one of those techniques, and that's their job, and that's why we have a Facebook account. And I know some people are shocked by that, but that's not, I don't have it for any personal reasons.
Well, I just appreciate how diligent you are at protecting your bubble, and it explains some of what I experience of you in terms of the purity of your frequency and the height of your frequency. It really is clean signal.
It is a clean signal. And so I would go one other level around, like even like work. Like there's a lot of negative things that come around running a business in general, whatever, like from, economic variables, which I don't, listen a lot to that either. I mean, obviously I know my internal ones, but like, I've been sued I don't know how many times. So that goes to a certain person in the organization. And unless I'm necessary to become a part of it, I don't sometimes even know any of that occurs unless I need to sign off on. I mean, clearly I sign off. I'm not abdicating at all, but I don't want the energy and the negativity of any of that. And so I have highly skilled people around me. Like, I don't know, I guess we get a BBB complaint on a regular basis. I get an AG complaint, somebody didn't return a product. I don't know all that goes on because I have a highly trained 8 to 10-year staff who that's their job to handle that part of the company, handle customer service issues, handle
and they can handle it without taking it personally and have it really impacting.
Well, and bleed all over everybody else.
Right.
And I don't need to know about those things. My job's to drive and vision forward and strategize forward. And I know my doing of the company, and they have their doing of the company. And so I don't think enough owners, like those are levels of control you've got to give up. And it doesn't come overnight. You start training a very close in-house team of people that will be with you for a long time to just take on some of those roles and to manage those parts of your life, because some of that stuff, it just comes with some shitty energy, right? I mean, the bigger you get, the more hits you take. Like, I don't go out and look all over the internet of the people who are, bitching about me. I don't care. You either like me or don't like me. If you want help, I'll help you. If you don't, good luck. Find someone else. I'm not for everybody.
I love that.
So you have
I want to
ask
you something.
Like, early in careers, like I watch so many of my early students have their little heart broken when somebody has a bad post about them. It's like, oh God, you got to get over that soon.
It's actually a good time, right? It's like an artist. You want to create a little diversity. You're getting bigger when you've got a couple of people that are not loving you. You're following your own unique voice too. So I'm curious, Floral, what is your reaction to the belief that most successful people are early risers?
I'd say it's yes. I mean, I know only very, very few that don't, but I think that most people that I know and have been mentored by, we go to bed fairly reasonable hours and we're up early. Like tomorrow, I'll get back into my mountain routines. I'm here for a week, and I'll be back up by 5:30, into the gym by 6, and back home before 7 when the kids get up. So that's my norm. It was just a little off today, but it's not that far off, so I know how to maneuver it. I don't give it up. I just move it around. But I think I'm telling a lot of like private secrets in our call, but I knew we were going to, because I think people need to get to it, and this is the first interview that's ever asked these questions, so I'm glad you are. Like we said when we were talking together, it's necessary people know how we think. I think most people are up early, and I think everyone has a morning ritual that is up early.
I think so too, yeah. And I really wanted to talk to you about that morning ritual. I know, so part of your ritual is the intention to getting up early and getting to bed on time, the intention that you set, what you call prayer or meditation, the exercise, and is there any other piece of it that we're missing? Your family time. Yeah.
My kids' time, because they're fresher in the morning, and because I have both of them go to a different school, one's elementary, one's middle school, and they're 2 hours apart. I have good time with each of them in the morning, and they're fresh, and it's, breakfast and, making lunches and talking, and it's not chaos and homework and sleepy and crabby at the end of the day.
Right.
So I don't just rush that morning part. And I also, the other thing, too, about getting up, once you condition yourself, you really don't need an alarm. But if you do, just for your own conscious, which I have like a little, just kind of light piano music thing that goes on. And I don't have like this blaring, screaming, fire alarm. Wah, wah. I mean,
right.
To wake up.
It's just not nice.
Oh, my God. I know.
Well, this is an area that I'm also curious about, because I work a lot with this. I know that when I have coaching clients that are they're not really producing very well, they're sluggish, they're not getting all the results that they want, I'll usually start asking them about their morning routine. And it will turn out that they don't have a solid morning routine. They're not even getting an early start. And then there's this whole sort of having to rewire things so that they can start getting up early. And I wonder, like, if you have a late night, do you stick to your early morning rise? Is that really, are you kind of relentless about that, or do you allow it to shift around if you end up with a late night?
I allow it to shift around. I mean, the other day, because of weather conditions, unfortunately I had a red eye and then get delayed, and it was just this, like, tumultuous. And I had a choice. I got it to the hotel finally at, like, it was 5:45, and I thought, okay, I could go run and stay on time, or go get an hour and a half of, like, proper sleep so I'm fresh for the whole day for the students. So I slept, and then at lunch I took a quick run and then got back on. So if I can fit it in, I can, but I'm also not, I don't have this whole critic thing. You know, minimum would be 4 days a week that I, like to get to the gym. 6 is perfect with a day off. And you know what? Shit happens. So I just, you got to get over that, like, hypercritic, neurotic part, because I just think that's not helpful.
Right. So you have to stay soft about it. It's like that's why I like the word intention.
Forgiving about it.
Goal.
It's like, all right, are you doing your best, Now, if you're just screwing around, you're not doing your best, that's different. But
well, Laurel, I so appreciate your taking the time to talk to me about all this. You're, like I said, there's just nobody hardly better suited to really share mastering efficiency and productivity, and the way you do it is just elegant and beautiful. And as we're closing, I think there's a gift that you have that for people who are listening that you want to tell us a little bit about.
There is. I have a toolkit that a lot of people that are just learning my material, they start with, where it gives them, nearly $1,000 of downloadable content. It gives them some of my sales training, marketing training, Yes Energy Boot Camp. So it's a variety of tools to get started. And because it's a variety, it gives you, different really look at the breadth of our conversation, because I'm one of the few as the Millionaire Maker who talk about how to make it, how to keep it, how to invest it, how to do it with the team, and how do you make money guaranteed the whole way across it. So if they go to the link below, we will give them the toolkit for free as they give us their information, and we'll send that over to them. And then the offer that I really want all of the folks that are listening to do is our 3 days, our 3 days to cash, and we've made it online. We've just made it up. It's extraordinary. So the way you start is you go through what I call deadly financial traps, where you take a very short 30-second quiz and you identify which financial trap is most like the situation you're in. Then I give you more video content to share with you how to get out of that trap. And then that goes into a 90-minute webinar, which has been highly, just the feedback's extraordinary, just like high reviews on that, where I talk you through how to never get in any of the financial traps. And at the end of that, they'll have an opportunity to buy my 3 days to cash online. And Michelle, that's my signature dish. It's the main thing in our company. But instead of paying $14.95, you're going to pay $4.95. And starting this fall, we actually are going to have some options for them to get a highly interacted online Ustream with me as well. So they really will get the online videos, and they're going to get some interaction where we're going to start doing, how do you do it online? How do you really make that money online for those that don't want to come out to the live event? So it's normally $14.95. They're going to get for $4.95, which is just a rip in value. And honestly, if they do everything I say in that video in the 3 days to cash online process, you're guaranteed to make money. You just have to do everything I say. And that's tends to be bottom line problem, is most people don't do everything I say. They'll do, 5 of the 10 steps and wonder why it doesn't work. But it really works. Right. Yeah. So it's really cool. So get the free gift and then head through the Deadly Financial Traps to get our 3 days to cash online offer. And it is only available there. You can't call back into my team and say, I want that offer, because that's not what my sales teams and floors and strategists can do. Only available through your link.
Ah, beautiful. Well, that's a really good deal. I know the value of that 3 days to cash content. And frankly, anybody who's listening who hasn't had a chance to work with Laurel, move in that direction, because she's like, getting next to a tornado in the best possible way. Things will absolutely start to happen for you. Really, really good millionaire mindset, to be rubbing elbows with. So good stuff. Laurel, thank you so much. I'm just feel so much love and gratitude for you.
Well, thank you, my friend, and look forward to more soon.